for the internet. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sea Otter exhibit. My name is Beth. It's lovely to see everyone here in person this morning. To anyone viewing from online, you may well notice that our sea otters are not currently in their exhibit. Our sea otter trainers are currently setting up a birthday cake and enrichment celebration for Rosa. Now, Rosa is one of our 5 resident otters here at the aquarium, and today we are celebrating her 24th birthday. Now, southern sea otters typically live for around 15 years. Males on the shorter end, about 10 to 15. Females, typically 15 to 20 years. Rosa is currently the oldest southern sea otter that we know of, reaching 24 years of age, which is pretty incredible. And she has been an amazing resident here at the aquarium for decades. We love celebrating Rosa at any opportunity we get. So the enrichment that is being set out today is all made of ice. You see, ice cubes have been laid out on the deck, and that big cake was made using cake molds with ice frozen inside them. Our sea otter team took special care to fill those with food coloring, so we've got fun colors to interact with, and also to spell out Happy Birthday Rosa with the appropriate 24 candles on the top. Although made of ice, they are not going to light and be blown out like typical candles would be. Now, our team has also filled some of these ice blocks with some delicious treats. When giving enrichments to our sea otters, we're looking to give them anything that is mentally or physically stimulating, and sometimes that does involve hiding their food in some fun format. So inside some of those blocks of ice will be pieces of squid, perhaps clam tongue, or even pieces of shrimp, their favorite. We love mixing in those pieces of food because it gives them a fun, interesting way to get some of their diet. Our sea otters are eating about 20% of their body weight every single day, so we give them about 3 or 4 feeding and training sessions in a day with treats in enrichments like this as well. Now, this enrichment is a little bigger than what we would typically be offering our sea otters, as we're giving them a massive pile of ice to celebrate Rosa's birthday. Ice is one of her favorite things to be playing with, interacting with, and crunching on a regular basis. So it's a lot of fun to be able to create a big enrichment like this. Now, our 2 sea otters that are currently on exhibit are Rosa and Ivy, and they are hiding in a space just off behind the scenes while this enrichment is being set up this morning. In a minute or 2, we will let them out into the exhibit, and we'll see what they make of this fun enrichment. We never know with enrichments whether our sea otters are going to dive right in and tear these enrichments to shreds, or whether they'll take a little more time to appreciate them. So we'll wait and see what our birthday girl feels like doing this morning. Now, this sea otter team that has set out the enrichment for our lovely ladies today works incredibly hard to provide our sea otters with the exemplary care they receive on a daily basis. Otters like Rosa reaching 24 years of age would not be possible without the incredible hard work and care that they are providing on a regular basis. They're constantly keeping an eye on these otters, doing feeding and training sessions to encourage them to be active participants in their care, helping provide them with excellent medical care, and also just providing them with a whole lot of love and attention. It is truly incredible the work that they do, and we could not be the incredible facility we are without them. But today, they get to watch their favorite sea otter, let's be honest, Rosa is a favorite for all of us, get to eat a delicious birthday treat. We'll see how long it takes for them to come out and rip this piece to shreds here. I'm sure they will have a lot of fun with this today. So at 24 years old, Rosa has been with us here at the aquarium since she was a pup. She first came to us at just a few days old. She was stranded as a pup who'd been separated from her mother, and so she came and joined our rehabilitation program. We've been rehabilitating juvenile otters that have been separated from their mothers here at the aquarium since we opened, so for several decades at this point. Rosa was raised, just like our other rehabilitated pups were at the time, by people doing their best to play pretend and be otters. They did a pretty great job. They taught otters how to break into their favorite foods, how to eat, they groomed them and gave them milk when they were young, and they even taught them how to dive and forage for food by themselves, taking them out on field trips into the bay. Rosa was raised like this by some of the staff that worked with the aquarium otters for a very long time. She was released, but after a couple of years, she was not fending for herself as she usually should. Instead, she was becoming a little too interactive with people. At that point, it was deemed she'd be better to be resident at the aquarium, and she came to join us in 2002 and has been resident with us ever since. So she has been with us for most of her 24 years of life. and she has played an important role in our rehabilitation program behind the scenes. These days, when we bring in sea otters for rehabilitation, those pups come in and they get raised by people who wear big black ponchos and face masks for a few months while they're getting their milk and being weaned onto solid food. But once they can feed themselves and crunch through solid food, they get paired up with one of our resident otters. They act as surrogate or foster mothers for those pups, teaching them everything they need to know so the pups can survive on their own in the wild. Rosa is our most prolific sea otter surrogate mother. She has raised 15 pups with us here over the years, and so it is pretty incredible the work that she has done. They are currently hanging out behind the scenes, Rosa and Ivy, and we'll probably keep them back there for another few minutes before we're sending out into this enrichment. We do have a live stream happening on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube this morning, and so upstairs we do have Alan, one of our social media folks, with Melanie, who takes care of all of our Sea Otter programs. And they are having a bit of an interview before we get started with our lovely ladies this morning. So I'm going to step off microphone for a few minutes until it's almost time for Rosa and Ivy to come on out. If you're watching online and want to head over to that YouTube stream to see the behind-the-scenes peek, then please feel free to do so. But if not, hang tight, enjoy, and we'll get started in just a few minutes. Thanks, folks. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see so many of our staff members up here in the exhibit space. My name is Beth. I'm the one waving my hand in the middle here. I'm going to be chatting with y'all this morning about ROSA and what is going on. For anyone who is watching our webcam on our website or on YouTube, welcome. We are currently celebrating ROSA's 24th birthday. We'll talk more about her in a moment. But if you are watching online, we are also doing a big live stream on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch this morning. And on that live stream, we will be doing some interviews with our Sea Artist staff and getting a couple of behind-the-scenes peeks, so feel free to jump over to that stream if you're watching online. But here in the exhibit space, we can see we have a beautiful enrichment set up for Rosa and Ivy. We have two of our resident artists who will be coming out into the exhibit today. This enrichment treat that has been developed for them today is formed as a birthday cake for Rosa. So we have a big ice cake in the middle there with Happy Birthday Rosa and 24 on the top. Rosa is turning 24 this week. She is the oldest southern sea otter that we know of. So she is reaching an incredible milestone today. Female sea otters would typically be expected to have a lifespan of maybe 15 to 20 years. So she is living a good long life here. Surrounding that enrichment cake is a big pile of ice cubes, but also a lot of fun toys and treats. There are some colorful ice blocks there, some of which have some delicious pieces of food frozen inside them. We often hide pieces of squid, clam tongue, or shrimp in colorful ice blocks for our otters to interact with. We have also covered that pile with some toys that might look familiar if you have pets at home. Dog toys are built to last for animals with sharp teeth and strong jaws, so they work perfectly for our sea otters too, as they've got some delicious treats inside. And there's some extra shrimp there on the pile as well. But let's say good morning to our birthday girl as Rosa and Ivy come out into this exhibit. Enrichments like this are designed to be mentally and physically stimulating for our otters. And as you can see, we pretty quickly there had a shrimp stolen as one of our otters runs off into the water to enjoy her feast. Otters typically spend their entire lives in the water, eating and drinking and giving birth and sleeping all out there in the ocean. So it is understandable that our otters would slide their way down into the exhibit to enjoy their treats. Now, it looks like shrimp are often the favorite first here, which makes sense. They were one of the last things that went in that pile. Some of those shrimp are frozen into ice blocks, making them a bit more fun, challenging, and interactive for our otters to work with. But both Rosa and Ivy will likely head back and forth between the water and this big pile of delicious treats this morning, so it might take them a while to get through this selection. Now, we are here to celebrate Rosa, as I say, as she is reaching 24 years of age. If you're just joining us, I'd like to give you a little more history on Rosa. Rosa first came to the aquarium way back in 1999. She came in as a pup who had been separated from her mother and needed some rehabilitation. Now, we have been rehabilitating otters here at the aquarium since we opened back in the 80s. And people have been putting in a lot of work to do what we can to help these wild otters for a long time. When we first started rehabilitation work, our staff would feed and groom these otters when they were young. As they got bigger, we would climb into the water with them and crack open shelled food with rocks on our chests and take them out for field trips, swimming in the kelp forest off our back deck, so that we could train them to be able to survive on their own in the wild. And a lot of them did an excellent job, Rosa included. She was released and spent a couple of years out in the wild before she was brought back to us because she was a little too friendly with some of the people that she was running into out there in the bay. When otters become too familiar with people, it's not safe for the people or the otters involved. So she came back to the aquarium in 2002 and has been living with us here ever since. Since then, we have been changing how we do our rehabilitation. In 2001, we started raising otters by using other otters as surrogate or foster mothers. Might sound like a logical conclusion and thing to do, but we didn't know at first whether otters would have any interest. Although you never know. Sometimes our otters do what they did just now and steal multiple dog toys at once, making sure that they have plenty of treats to enjoy. But the otters behind the scenes took very quickly to raising pups that were not their own so that they could help provide them with the care they needed. In fact, Rosa, over the years, has raised 15 pups for us as a surrogate mother. Absolutely. So definitely deserves a big cheer for that. She is an incredible, prolific surrogate mother. and has raised many pups for us who have gone out to the wild and then had pups of their own. So Rosa is a grandmother who knows how many times over at this point, thanks to all of that work she has put in. Now, both Rosa and Ivy are digging through treats right now, finding matching ones. It looks like those green toys have some delicious pieces of food inside. We'll see what they manage to pull out. Courtney on deck there is adding some additional pieces of food on top of this pile, some delicious Kauai shrimp. If anyone's feeling jealous, I totally get it, although I know that we don't usually eat shrimp at breakfast. These otters are eating restaurant quality, sustainable seafood, so if you're inspired, maybe grab some shrimp for lunch later today. Enrichments are a great way to provide enrichment and stimulation for our otters. Anything mentally or physically challenging for them is always fun for them to interact with. Fortunately, one of the other ways we can work with and take care of our otters is by doing feeding and training sessions, which we do at least 2 to 3 times a day. Now, Ivy, being a much younger otter at only around 12 years old, she does have a fair bit of energy. Rosa, being a little more laid back, sometimes is going to get food stolen from her by the youngins. It happens. But luckily, there is plenty of food available today. So as they go back and forth from the exhibit and back to the deck, these toys that are full of food may well end up down towards the bottom of the exhibit. The feeding and training sessions that we're doing on a regular basis are a great way for our otters to be active participants in their care. The behaviors we ask them for enable our trainers to get a good look at their health, strength, and full body so that we can do regular physical checkups. So that just like you and I might know when our dog or cat at home starts acting a little bit differently, these trainers that work with the otters so diligently know as well and can give the otters the attention they need. But one of the things we can ask them to do in those sessions is to retrieve toys from the bottom of the exhibit. And I have a feeling Ivy will be asked to retrieve many toys from the bottom of the exhibit today after all of these treats have been enjoyed. It looks like our birthday girl is being kind of particular. I know what it's like. On my birthday, I'm always looking at the pile of presents, trying to figure out which one to go for first. So maybe she's being a little particular, but some delicious treats in there, I am sure. There is never a dull day here in the Sea Otter exhibit as our girls are interacting with their exhibit, their enrichment, and also each other. I certainly am not the only one who thinks that this is adorable, but also hilarious to be watching. I'm hearing a lot of laughter from around me here. But luckily, some of these toys are going to be more challenging than others. You can see one in Courtney's hand there that is blue but has some red inside it. Sometimes we can hide one toy inside another and make it extra difficult. So maybe we'll try and give Ivy one of those sometimes so that Rosa can have something different to interact with. Lots of fun in that exhibit, though. They still have not made it all the way to the cake. So I'm sure it'll be a while as we continue watching these otters digging into this enrichment pile. Now, I'm going to step off microphone for a little while. If you around here in the exhibit have any questions about our sea otters or anything that you're looking at, feel free to come find me or any member of the interpretive programs team. Interpretive programs folks, go ahead and raise your hands so that people know where you are. You can ask any of these wonderful folks. They work with our sea otters and present these feedings on a daily basis. So would be happy to chat with you if you have any questions, although I'm sure we'll all be distracted by the adorable happenings here. Again, if you are watching us online, feel free to jump on over to our YouTube stream where Alan upstairs will also be talking to members of our Sea Otter team and getting a bit of a behind-the-scenes peek as to what is going on this morning. So I'm going to step off mic. I might join you back on mic in a little bit, but thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful day and enjoy watching the rest of this fun birthday party. Well, good morning, folks. If you have just joined us on our live stream on our website or YouTube channel, good morning. Welcome to the Monterey Bay Aquarium Sea Otter Exhibit webcam, where you might notice, if you've been here before, that things look a little bit different today. Now, here in the middle of the exhibit this morning, we have an enrichment for Rosa. Now, this enrichment is for Rosa's 24th birthday. At 24, Rosa is the oldest southern sea otter that we know of. She's been with us here at the aquarium for the last couple of decades as an incredible member of our resident sea otter crew. Now, this enrichment is just one of many types of enrichment we can deliver to our otters on a regular basis. We often provide our otters with ice as a fun enrichment treat. Out on the deck today, we have some typical ice cubes, but also some fun colored ice blocks. Some of those are made with clam juice, which is the extra liquid you get from defrosting clams. Some of them have some pieces of shrimp or clam inside them. And then right there in the middle, we have a nice big colorful cake made of ice, made from a big cake mold full of water and food coloring, with then the words "Happy Birthday, Rosa" and the number 24 on the top, since we are celebrating her 24th birthday. It's not often that we celebrate a birthday for our sea otters, because every day is special and full of treats and enrichments for them, but Rosa is particularly special to us here at the aquarium, as the oldest resident otter we have, but also as an otter who's had a long storied history with us. She came into the aquarium first as a pup for rehabilitation back in 1999. She was raised by people. We taught her everything she needed to know. We taught her how to break into her own food, took her on field trips to learn how to dive out in the kelp forest off our back decks, and eventually were able to successfully release her back out into the wild so that she could be a member of that wild population. After a couple of years, things weren't going so well anymore, and she was a little too familiar with people. So she came back here to the aquarium, because otters and people meeting in the wild can put them both in unsafe situations. But Rosa came back to us in 2002 and has been here with us ever since. We changed how we did our rehabilitation in that period of time, and now, instead of people doing the work, otters are the ones teaching pups how to successfully be adult otters. So Rosa has been one of those surrogate or foster mothers. She has taken in pups when they're just a couple of months old and barely able to eat their own solid food or groom themselves, taught them how to groom themselves, find and open their own sources of food, and then how to forage for that food as well. She has raised 15 pups for us here at the aquarium over the years, making her an incredibly prolific sea otter mother. So at 24 years of age, she did retire from that surrogacy program a few years ago. After 15 pups, we figured she deserved a retirement from that hard work, since raising each pup takes several months for our otters. She has been enjoying this pile of enrichments this morning. Each of our otters, both Rosa and Ivy, we have on exhibit today, been crawling up to this pile, going through it to see what their favorite pieces are, and then bringing those pieces back into the water to eat them. Some of those toys may have looked familiar. If you have a dog, you may well see some of the same Kongs and other fun rubber toys you would use at home. They have great spaces inside them for treats to be put in, and work really well for animals with sharp teeth and strong jaws. So they are perfect for our sea otters as well. And you may well have noticed that both of our ladies here have been taking those treats and toys back into the exhibit water. Ivy in particular has been able to carry as much as 3 delicious treat-filled toys at a time, thanks to the big armpit pockets that otters have in their bodies. Now, otters' skin is a couple sizes too big for them, so they have a pocket under their arm that they can use in the wild to stash food they find at the bottom to bring up to the surface and eat. But here in this exhibit, they can use that pocket to stuff some of their favorite toys inside. Once they stuff those toys in their armpit pocket, they can climb back into the exhibit. And as we've been watching Ivy this morning, who currently has 2 toys with her, we've seen her hold as many as 4 toys at one time, which is a pretty impressive feat. Rosa has been pacing herself a little bit more, and we'll see how long it takes for our lovely ladies to get to that big cake in the middle of the exhibit. Now, if you have just joined us on our typical website live stream, then I highly recommend heading over to our YouTube channel, where we are hosting a live stream of this morning's event, which will be available to rewatch on YouTube as well. Upstairs, we have Melanie, who works with our Marine Mammals program, and Alan, one of our social media specialists. So they're getting a behind-the-scenes peek at what it takes to look after our otters, and you may well be able to virtually meet some of the team members that work really hard to take care of these animals. It's the exemplary care that those teams give to our sea otters that enables us to have otters like Rosa that reach this incredible age and that do this incredible surrogacy and rehabilitation work. So we really appreciate them and the work they do, and again, I highly recommend checking out that live stream. But this is Beth signing off here in front of the Sea Otter exhibit. I hope you enjoy watching them as they get to the end of this birthday cake, and that you have a wonderful rest of your day enjoying this view of our Sea Otter exhibit. Thank you, everybody.